she said. I'm not anyone's property. Left me to be with her ex. A month later, she called pregnant and abandoned. I told her, live the life you chose. I'm 34, and for nearly 2 years I'd been in a relationship with my girlfriend, S. Things between us weren't perfect, but they were steady enough that I thought we understood each other's boundaries. We didn't fight much, and when we did, it was usually over small, forgettable things. Then, out of nowhere, she told me she was planning a solo trip to another city for a week. The words felt casual coming out of her mouth, like she was telling me she was going to the store. No discussion, no asking how I felt about it, just an announcement. At first, I just asked the obvious questions. When? Where? Why? She said it would be sometime next month, to a city about 5 hours away. I knew her ex lived there. I didn't say it right away, but the thought immediately crossed my mind. When I finally brought it up, doesn't your ex still live there? She brushed it off with a laugh and said, oh, please. That's ancient history. But there were little details she couldn't explain, like why she'd already booked the trip without even talking to me, or why she was being vague about where she'd be staying. I told her plainly that I wasn't comfortable with the idea. It wasn't about controlling her. It was about trust, and this just didn't feel right. She didn't respond right away, just kind of rolled her eyes and went back to her phone. The next day, I saw a post on her social media. Oh, I am not anyone's property. That hit me harder than I expected. She didn't tag me, but we both knew who that was aimed at. To her friends and followers, it probably looked like I was some jealous boyfriend trying to cage her in. In reality, I'd simply expressed my discomfort and asked for honesty. I didn't want to make it a public fight, so I didn't respond online. When we were alone later, I told her again, calmly, that I didn't approve of the trip. If you want to go somewhere, that's fine, I said, but the way this is happening, it doesn't sit right with me. She just stared at me for a moment, as if weighing her next move. I could tell she didn't like that I was standing firm on this. She'd always been used to me letting things slide, avoiding confrontation. This time, I wasn't backing down. That's when I noticed something in her expression change, like a wall going up. I didn't know it at the time, but this was the start of everything unraveling. It happened a couple of nights later. We've been avoiding the topic since my last calm. I'm not okay with this conversation. I thought maybe she was letting the idea go, or at least reconsidering. We were in the living room when she brought it up again, casually tossing it into the conversation like it was nothing. So, I'm still going next month, she said, without even looking up from her phone. I took a breath. I've already told you. I'm not comfortable with this trip. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm being honest about how it makes me feel. She set her phone down slowly, almost theatrically. You know what your problem is? You think you get to decide what I do. You don't. You're acting insecure. I kept my voice even. It's not about insecurity. It's about respect. If the roles were reversed, and I was going to spend a week in a city where an ex lived, without telling you until after I booked it, I think you'd have a problem too. Her lips pressed together for a moment, and then she let out a short laugh, the kind that's more about dismissal than amusement. You're ridiculous. You know who never acted like this? Him. I froze for half a second, not because I was shocked she brought him up, but because I could hear where this was going before she even finished. He was mature and good to me, she continued. Not like you. You're just a child. The words landed harder than I wanted to admit. I'd been nothing but supportive of her, patient when she was stressed, understanding when she needed space. To be reduced to a child, in comparison to the same guy who cheated on her and left, it was insulting and telling. I looked at her for a long moment. Something inside me shifted. It wasn't anger, it was clarity. If you're not interested in me, I said slowly, then please leave. And don't show me your face again. There was no shouting, no dramatic scene. I just meant it. She tilted her head slightly, studying me like I was speaking a foreign language. For a second, I thought she might try to backpedal, soften the blow of what she'd said. But instead, she leaned back, crossed her arms, and just sat there in silence. It was in that quiet moment I realized the conversation was already over, not just for the night, but for us. She finally broke the silence. Okay, she said, her tone light, almost casual. Now I am free. And with that, she grabbed her bag from the couch, walked to the bedroom to stuff a few more clothes inside, and headed for the door. No tears, no hesitation, not even a glance back to see if I'd stop her. I just stood there, watching her leave. Not because I was hoping she'd turn around, but because I wanted the image burned into my memory, a reminder that when someone shows you where they'd rather be, you don't try to block the door. For the next few weeks, I didn't hear from her. No calls, no texts. I didn't check her social media, but mutual friends let me know she'd gone through with the trip. I didn't ask for details. I didn't want them. One night, about a month later, my phone rang. I didn't recognize the number at first, but I picked up anyway. It was her. Her voice sounded different, softer, unsure. Can we talk? She asked. I didn't answer right away, so she continued. I went on the trip, and I was with him. She didn't have to say his name. I already knew. Then she dropped the next piece. I'm pregnant. I sat back in my chair, letting that sink in. She wasn't calling to brag or to rub anything in. This was the first time I'd heard real vulnerability in her voice in a long time. I don't know what to do, she added quietly. I thought I could handle things on my own. I thought I knew him better this time. But her voice cracked slightly, and then she went silent. For a moment, I didn't say anything. Part of me was still stuck on the memory of her walking out without a second thought, telling me she was free. This was the first time it hit me that walking away wasn't the end for her. It was just the beginning of what she was about to face. I finally spoke. So where is he now? The pause on the other end of the line said everything. When she did answer, her voice was strained. He's gone. He left, just like before. It was almost surreal. This was the same man she had held up as an example of maturity and goodness, the one she compared me to with that cutting edge in her voice. Now she was alone again, and carrying his child. She started to cry. Not loud, movie scene crying, but the kind where you can hear someone trying to keep their voice steady while it breaks. I thought I was independent, she said. I thought I didn't need anyone. But I was wrong. He cheated on me while I was there. With 2 different women. And then he told me I was a mistake. She let out a shaky breath. Please help me. I don't know what to do. I have no one else to call. For a long moment, I didn't say a word. My mind went back to the night she walked out. How certain she had been that leaving me was the start of her freedom. How public she'd made her little declaration about not being anyone's property. How quickly she'd put me down in favor of the very man who abandoned her twice. When I finally answered, my voice was calm. Live your life the way you chose it, I said. You made your decision, and I'm not accepting you back into mine. There was a sharp inhale on the other end, like she wanted to argue, but I wasn't interested in another debate. I ended the call before she could respond. I haven't heard from her since. I know some people would say I should have helped, that it was cruel to turn my back on someone in that situation. But here's the thing. She didn't just make a mistake. She made a choice, fully knowing what it meant. And in doing so, she made it clear that my place in her life was expendable. So I chose myself instead. I'm not angry anymore. If anything, I feel lighter. There's no wondering where I stand, no second guessing if I could have done something differently. I saw the truth, and I acted on it. Sometimes, the hardest part isn't watching someone walk away. It's refusing to open the door when they try to come back. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.